some shit. Watch. I already know they pubbing. They getting they look together now.
He got that mindset to be some mayor political type
fit
shit.
in them suits.
Yeah.
Damn, we did get skinny.
Boss got little, bro. Like,
he wasn't that small. Girl got him eating right.
Who that? Dwayne. What his name?
That's positive.
What you call it?
country way.
Mm-hmm. But y'all ready, man? Y'all good?
Yep.
You good? You need that raise up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yo, Travis be finding his little social media joint. John said, "Her, I want to go where they cook the food in front of you." It was like me, say no more. Waffle House cooks on that bitch. Yo, you know what's crazy? I just noticed with Waffle House that like all they cooks don't be wearing hairnets and gloves.
Let's say you're about to ruin it.
Waffle
House.
That's
It's not the most sanitary place ever.
No, but like now that
they wash their
see
hands.
Sometimes now the cooks like. But if you think, I was just thinking about it because people like kind of turn their nose up at that. But I was like, most of these restaurants, these fancy ones especially,
bro, they don't
these
wear gloves.
Up here, they ain't wearing no gloves.
They are touching the food in the fancy ones.
They're the cooks.
The dudes was the cooks. Dudes didn't just have to wear hats. Now women are cooks, so now they put their hairnets out.
Nah,
but before
it'd
it was
be
just
funny
bad.
seeing the dudes with the beard.
Right on their beard.
I still feel like the hair coming through that shit, bro.
I'd be mad as fuck. The nigga made me put one of them on.
They do it at Publix.
Niggas be having. First of all, I don't know how that shit stay on there. They must have made it.
Hooked on your ears.
Oh,
I ain't never seen
There's
that
another
shit.
way for niggas to make money. Like, bro, get this shit off my face.
like the shit, like
Bro, that shit can fall in the food. My shit
If
be
you get
shitting
a
all
piece
the time.
of beard hair in your,
I know the beard hair.
I ain't gonna say
your
every time I
macaroni
eat my
cheese.
own food, I'd be like, oh, that's
Exactly. Yeah, look at that bitch, man.
I be having the same problem.
Welcome to another episode.
you know we recording, nigga.
Welcome to another episode. Where's the KB podcast? I started real early, but I ain't got no SD card in there, so that shit won't record. But we good. I fixed it. We good.
I need to listen to him. The vibrations going.
You need to learn this
shit.
damn equipment,
Right.
nigga. But we got.
You need to learn it.
I'll be hosting the class.
Yes, you.
I'll be hosting the
Pardon?
class in 2 weeks. Y'all can come to
Did
my
you
class.
just
How to work
give
the
a little
roadcaster.
nod?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Nah, I was
said
just
that?
moving.
Oh.
Who gonna be our producer?
Who's been producing? Who is the producer?
Come to my
I'm
class.
talking about y'all podcast.
Oh, you know.
Nobody. Exactly.
Come to my class. I'm
We
showing
might.
everybody how to work their roadcaster in 3 weeks.
I don't
It
want
is.
to
Come
learn.
to the Russell.
But we got usual suspects in the building. You got my boy Basic Light to my left.
Yerp.
We got a stranger.
Danger.
Stranger danger. Stranger danger.
Back in this thing.
God damn, stranger danger. We got well, I don't even know what to call you no more, man.
Look, we still Mr. Keith, aka Chronic Knowledge.
Well, I
aka
thought we couldn't call you that no more.
You know, school season started back, and I'm back out here. So
Okay.
and you know, Black Man Lab, we be out here doing it. So new voices. That's what
All
we're
right,
doing.
we're gonna jump into it in a second. And we got Miss Amy on here. What's up? What's
Hello,
up? What's
hello.
up?
Oh, hey, she had a customer resident therapy.
Come
That's why
on
you had
now.
the SH
Come
on
on
the back.
now.
I like
I'm
that.
official.
Come on now.
Like a whistle.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
the
This
that's
shit
the
good.
family right there. Oh yeah, let's go and take this whoop.
I just need us to cheer not only to the KB podcast,
Okay.
but my birthday's coming up.
Oh shit, that's right.
Okay.
Did
How old you
fig-
turning? 35?
Mind your business.
You ever figure out what you doing for it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's kind of okay. It's root beer.
It's root beer, man. Root beer whiskey.
Ew.
I can get with that.
You know, yeah. I feel like it needs something.
You got
Starting to take like licorice.
Yeah.
It's good.
What
You
you
can't drink too much of that.
Oh, wine and brunch, my two favorites.
Wine, bro. I think you
Wine,
said something about
brunch,
that.
and then party in between. You know, spend a little time with friends coming in town.
I don't
Okay,
think I ever.
Family kicking it.
I ain't never seen you party.
This is my first time seeing you drink.
Nah, she was
That's
at the
a lie.
podcast appreciation night.
She wasn't drinking.
She definitely had a cup, bro.
No, see, you and Drills and
Takia was back there.
Takia, y'all were in like the VIP section in the back and
Yeah, we
shit.
were.
That's how she
It
do
was
it.
cool.
She gonna go. Matter of fact, you gonna be in VIP for your birthday?
Hello.
They were like, yeah, we've been on the episode a couple times, so we're gonna sit in the back.
It's just who we are, you know.
back there
You
with
go
the
where
lid
you
crossed.
belong.
Yeah, I was like,
Just chilling. It was cool back there.
Y'all back there playing spades and shit.
Y'all kept coming back there to see what was going on.
We trying to get in the section. Let my man's in.
Want to see my son?
But yeah, y'all funny. But yeah, so new season, man. New season out right now. If you listen to this shit,
Season 2.
season 2. We actually delayed the launch of season 2 to get this episode in. You know what I'm saying? So we want to see what's popping.
Was it delayed because of me?
No, I'm not talking about today. I'm
Hit
saying
dog will holler.
You know what I'm saying?
I
No. Come
Okay.
on, we never. Come on now.
never will play me.
Right.
It's my birthday week, chill.
Right. Oh, your birthday is actually this week.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Oh, shit. Ain't
She
nobody
was
ain't-
looking forward to
Hey,
the fuck the deposit party. and You didn't let her
nah,
down.
She ain't even tell nobody about no festivities or nothing.
We're not
goddamn.
invited.
I haven't
Boy.
planned the party part.
I think ladies are the only ones that have birthday weeks.
Only.
I had a whole month. My birthday's at the end of the month, so I can't wait to the end of the month to,
Your junk is
You
trash.
gotta wait till your
though,
birthday
like,
to celebrate your birthday.
I don't
September
have to.
is
We're just-
September
we're the
birthday is
robot.
kind of trash. She probably trying to wait till it gets closer so she could try to
You should watch your mouth.
throw it in with Halloween or something like
You
that.
should watch your mouth.
Oh no.
Shout out to JB out there. Well, not JB, but my lot, Jarvis Banks.
Oh, boy, I about to
His
say,
birthday.
I say JB.
Nah, Jarvis Banks' birthday I think was earlier this month.
What's the sign for that? What's the sign?
Virgo and then
Turtle.
Libra.
Virgo and
See,
Libra.
What is a
watch it.
Virgo?
I don't fucking know.
Is that the little weight thing?
That's none of my lane.
No,
This is a thing with the
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that shit.
Libra
man.
is the scale.
Even the people that pay so much attention to that kind of weird to me.
That's out of your lane. I thought you're.
I'm not a Virgo.
Oh, what are you?
I'm a Libra.
That's the scales.
What is a Libra?
The scale.
I don't know,
Balanced.
but
I'm the best friend you could ever have in life. Ask your fellow Geminis.
What's that Jay-Z
Okay.
face?
bro, that was pretty close, bro.
It was.
That's
that
pretty
me.
fucking
I didn't cut
close,
that
bro.
part out. Make that shit a
Oh
me.
shit!
Anyway, what's going on?
Right, we gotta
What's rocking
go.
today?
Boom. See that? That's the Libra right there. She got them tilted right there.
Let's bring it back.
So I don't know. I don't even know time frames. I don't want to get into time frames. You know what I'm saying? But podcast moved from a party of 3 to an army of 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I thought that it'd be a good idea to, especially for the listeners, you know what I'm saying, to understand why we made why did this shift happen? You know what I'm saying? And we kind of talk it out. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to go. I really want to go back to the beginning, when all this started. There you go.
I'm about to say, where's my teacup?
No. But I do want to go back to the beginning. You know what I'm
Just to give
saying?
some context.
Yeah, because like when we started the podcast, you know what I'm saying, how Mr. Keith came to, be a staple on the podcast, and then how that transitions happen, and here we are. You know what I'm saying? So Mr. Keith is no longer a part of Words of KB podcast.
No longer.
If you didn't know,
Now you know.
yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. Some people guessed it, but some people could see through the smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? You want to explain? You want to start, or you want me to start?
So give us some understanding, and the listeners an understanding of what the conversation is about.
So the conversation is, I left the podcast.
Okay.
I felt like at a time when I made a decision, it was a decision I needed to make. It happened after we had our meeting. We had like a little team meeting. And
That was at the hookah shop.
at the hookah shop. And then me and Ian talked. And it was just very transparent that it's like, you know what, Keith, you got to make a decision on if you're going to be on the pod or not be on the pod. And the direction that the podcast was going in, I'm just like, podcast is good. And if everything that I'm doing is going to hold it back, I could let it go, because me personally, I always aspired to do more behind the scenes work. And I'm not new to this podcasting thing. Like, I've been at this shit for about 3 years. So
you definitely was the the most knowledgeable about podcasts as far as us three. Like you listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts, but not like that. You know what I'm saying?
So I listen to podcasts, follow the industry, even produce a couple shows. So I felt like Words of KB was good, but I wanted to be in the back. Like I really wanted to do what I wanted to do in podcasting. So made my decision and it's been good. You know, there's a lot of things have changed. You know. This is also gonna be the re-single episode too, right?
Right. I want to do it, but we ain't gonna make it to re-single. That was on the plans, but I don't think we're gonna make it.
But yeah, so that's where we at. Though.
Okay. You want to say you want to?
I'm just listening and see what happened.
So yeah.
What's your experience of what happened?
I'm taking it back. You know, I'm trying to think when I first met Keith. It had to be 06, 07. I mean, I think all of this is relevant.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's for sure relevant. You know what I'm saying? Because so when you left the podcast, you sent me one text message.
Yeah, no. I sent you a long message.
Bruh,
I sent you a long message and all you replied back was okay.
Bro,
I sent you a decent message.
Let's pull out the receipts on this.
Well, while you pull up the receipts, I'd like to hear Ian's experience of what happened too.
What?
Because I feel like Keith is going. Not Keith. Kellen's going way back.
It's the long message he sent.
Are y'all gonna read it out loud?
I read it. Yeah. Okay. This is
what I said. I said my bad. I can't do any recording in August. And with the mounting things I have on my plate and the nature of the business, I'm not going to waste your time. Now, when I say nature of the business, I meant like the business of the podcast. I'm going to have to pull out the podcast. I love the year we had, and which I really did. And everybody could tell.
Just finish.
On the
just
video.
finish.
And can you explain?
No, I'm saying I love the year we had and the platform, but I have to let you have your creative control and not hold back any progress. I feel like that was a long message. The niggas just replied okay to that. Just okay, nothing else.
Well, first of all, we've been doing a podcast for over a year. You just gonna text that shit.
Yeah.
See, that's a problem right here.
Tell us what happened. Like, what he said? Is that what happened?
Well, I don't think that's
what he miss out of that story?
I think he put a PR answer out there.
Okay.
I think. Let me see. 'Cause I want this to be natural. You know what I'm saying? So I think we had a meeting about 3 weeks before that. You know what I'm saying? You know, showed up about 2 hours late to that meeting.
I'm gonna get into that.
That rubbed me. You know, tardiness rubs me the wrong way.
I'm gonna get into that too, because see, that also plays into some of the decisions. Because as Kelvin tells his story,
because tardiness to me translates to, you know, I don't care about other people's time. You know what I'm saying?
After y'all texted me, said y'all was gonna be late. No, remember who texted who said it was gonna be late first. Right, I was gonna be on time, but y'all said y'all was gonna be late first.
Let's not
get too caught into the fine details.
There we go.
We're gonna miss the time.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? So tardiness, you know, when I see like tardiness, Ian be late a lot too now. Let me put that out there. I just can't put it on. Yeah, Ian be late a lot too. You know what I'm saying?
I'm quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I know Keith for a long time, and I feel like, you know, the writing was on the wall, and I could tell when he was pulling back because, you know, he started showing up late more. You know, he giving little bullshit excuses when he late, like, blah. So I was like, you know, you late to the podcast appreciation night. You didn't do what you said you was going to do. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. So I was like, oh, yeah, he pulling back. You know, in my head, that's why I already knew.
I'm about to interject right there, though, because, and Ian could attest to this, when we had a conversation before about my tardiness. And the bullshit excuses he's talking about, I wouldn't say shit before. I would just be late. He requested, hey, man, you're going to be late. At least let me know what's going on. Now, just for reference, I'm sending you what's going on, but he's counting it as bullshit. Now, to me, that means something.
I mean, if you tell me an hour before, that's bullshit.
When ends late, you don't say, "Oh, that bullshit," and just be late. But if I send you some shit, that's some bullshit. But it's the real thing. Like it's the real. I flat out said I'm gonna be late, and I can't bring this.
An hour before the event.
Hey man, that's what.
But I'm saying you could have told me that a week before.
Why would I? I didn't know that a week before. See, you be wanting me to tell you shit that I don't know.
So is it a matter of time,
No,
timeliness of delivering
I'm gonna
like the message?
I'm gonna let Kevin finish the rest of the story, and I'll tell everybody what it is.
So you know, I already had a feeling something was coming. Then we had one more meeting. You know what I'm saying? And we did that you couldn't come to. So we did Ian came and we did a remote. And then, you know, we talked about some more stuff and we had some disagreements there about one, you didn't like that I wasn't releasing the episodes we was recording.
It was a podcast.
Yeah. We wasn't releasing the episode. We was doing the live, but we weren't releasing the episodes officially. You know what I'm saying?
And we didn't know that. We didn't know that until the House of Hookah meeting because we thought that that's what was going
on. Right. Yeah, we can go into that after you reply. But yeah. So that was a big thing on the call. And then you know how we split the podcast and all the business behind the podcast. I feel like was a thing. And then I think that was the last straw for you. And that's why I think you made that statement about creative control in that mess. Because I'm like, why would he put creative control in there? Because that was kind of outplaced. It just didn't make sense in the whole message. And you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, it had something to do with all those things. And you know, I was never one to take creative control. I always ask people, you know, I even said we could change the name of the podcast. I told y'all that in January. Y'all said keep the shit the same. You know what I'm saying? So I say the writing was on the wall then, you know what I'm saying? I've known you for a while and I just saw it coming.
Ian?
Yeah, you quiet over here.
I think Keith needs to respond and then I'll say my
piece.
Because I'm more like my relationship with both of them is kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
And
so did that make you see what happened differently, or it kind of keeps you makes you want to keep you in a neutral place?
Well, is everyone who listens like I wouldn't say everyone, but most of the people who listen, they know that we're frat brothers. So we've known each other and lived in the house with each other for we've known each other for some years now. So.
So all three of you all have lived in the same frat house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we stay with each other. But I would say it was kind of really, I wouldn't say shocking, but a surprise when we all got on the pod together because, you know, me and Kelvin were on the pod together and Keith was always doing like the old radio and I guess podcasting and stuff, like the producer and the background stuff beforehand. Mm-hmm. Even before we had started recording, he was doing like his own thing. So I don't even know how he got on some episodes because we weren't even really like recording some of them. Now if we were, Kelvin was kind of losing some of the.
I was learning.
He was learning. It was
learning. But he came on as guest first.
Yeah, it was trial and. Yeah, it was a lot of trial and error, for lack of better words. But I said it all to say like, Kelvin and Keith, like they never really hung out, like you know. So that kind of puts things in perspective. They kind of have different perspectives on a lot of things, which I feel like made the podcast kind of flow because everybody had, you know, was able to give their perspective of things, and it still flowed. But just to put things in perspective, they were they're frat brothers, and, you know, ain't no beef, but they just some people you don't rock with as much as you do others, you know. So but you know, we decided to do the podcast thing and make stuff more official. Started a lot of the branding stuff and all that stuff like that. So I think in my head I always knew because Keith is more what are dudes free spirits? What is the name for them?
I don't know. I got a different name for
Keith, what are you called?
Lone Wolf.
Yeah, he was always a lone
wolf.
Always been a lone wolf.
Yeah, lone wolf. Like he would always, you know, kind of do stuff. And I'm one of those people when my peoples do something, I'm one of those people that like kind of swing and ask questions like afterwards, like, hey, why we did that? Like that's just kind of me. Like that's the type of person I am. And, even in school, to not get in too many different stories, that kind of got me and Keith in a lot of trouble. And Kelvin was always like the not really big brother. He was like older than us, but we always called Kelvin like really old. But he wasn't like. I have a couple of my LBs that are like older than you. Like he only like a year or two. I'm a little bit younger, and me and Keith are kind of around the same. But you're probably only like literally like school wise like a year
apart
ahead of us. So we always kind of. Cause you, Gavin, Shanley, I was
always a more responsible person.
I guess you were responsible with certain things. I heard a lot of alarms go off, and you had 8 o'clock classes, and the alarms went off.
Now you talking about money? You talking about some shit?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
People got selective memory when they talk about how
about the podcast. What'd you say?
Yeah. No, but I say all that to say like it still rocked, but I had a feeling like it wasn't shocking when Kelvin told me that Keith left the podcast, because he did kind of like, I think I was taking you home and he was like, I think I want to be more in the background, and I didn't really think nothing about it. I was like, okay, cool, but I didn't think nothing about it. Like,
well, no, I asked you what you thought, and this is what you said. You said you had talked to Kelvin. Mm-hmm. Kelvin was like, Keith got to make a decision. Either he gonna take it serious, like he don't want me playing around with it, or I just need to leave. Right?
I don't remember, but that sounded like something I said.
I mean, and it does sound like something you said. So you said like that. I thought about it, and then so let me bring you back to where I'm at. So at the time that all this is going on,
you done, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, what's the wrap up? Because we appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, no, but I say
I got nervous a little early. I was like, wait, I'm gonna have to pull it back in.
Yeah. No, I say all that to say, like I said, it definitely, but it was still a shock, and just the way everything went down with us planning for the pod. It would have been nice to kind of be told that before, because it's kind of like we got ghosted, but it was like ghosted with a text. It's like, this
definitely got ghosted.
It was like we were about to get what's it called when you when you're a sitcom and you get like 10 episodes or whatever. What's that called?
Renewed?
No, like franchised or something like that.
Syndicated.
Syndicated.
Yeah, syndicated.
I felt like we were about to get syndicated, and then right before we were about to film the last episode, Keith is like, "Nah, I'm out."
Yeah.
So like, so it was a big shock, and it was different, but I definitely wanted to get you on the pod for you to tell your side of the story, because a lot of people, with different lives we've been doing, people been asking like, hey, where Keith at? Because people miss that input.
I've been dodging the questions a lot of them. Like, shit, he here?
I just, so with that being said, it's like, we was getting renewed. So I sent the text, right? And when Kelvin replied,
can I ask a question? Yeah. Why text?
Because I think, let me see what time it was. It was Saturday.
The reason why I asked why text is because what we talking about is more like on a business, and also there's like different levels of it. So it's like a business, there's friendship, there's brothership, right? Because you guys are brotherhood.
Made up a word, brothership.
I did. It was our relationship.
That's that birthday drinking.
Right, it is. So otherwise, why text message? If it had to do with, like, if you had all those ways of connecting with everybody, like, why was text the mode of communication?
And Key, you also had to put it in perspective, because Kelvin kept hitting you up because he was asking about the schedule for the podcast.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So he texted me. So Tuesday we had the talk, and took me home. Wednesday, Kelvin texted me with like the list of stuff we talked and some other things like about the schedule stuff. So when I saw that Wednesday, thought about the talk me and Ian had, I'm like, I gotta make a decision, right? So boom, so that's with the podcast. So in my personal life, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, I was going through something in the relationship that I was quote unquote unsingle. Now even the term unsingle came out of some bullshit, right? So the whole relationship was really some bullshit. Truth be told, she know that shit too. So
Re-single. That's your side of the story.
Damn, don't fuck up our listener. Don't unsubscribe, baby girl. That ain't between us.
She used to be in the chat too, bro.
Yeah, be in the chat saying some slick shit. So
wow.
Because you knew some bullshit. So that was that. So that went on. So that's
He still ain't got no list.
and we can't even hear. So that was going on.
Okay.
And initially, and this was so crazy. So when we broke, like that whole unsingle shit broke apart, was the same day we had the meeting at the House of Hookah. So I'm on the way to the meeting. Me arguing. They text me and said they're gonna be late. So I now feel I have more time to stay engaged in our argument. Now, at the time, my car was fucked up in the shop, so I was taking her car. But we arguing now. So at this point in time, it's like
you're not taking anything
you ain't taking
except
anything.
for yourself somewhere.
Exactly. So at that time, they was already headed to the House of Hookah. I'm already upset, and I just took an Uber and a bus to get there. I just took my time. And one thing about our relationship here, like Ian said, me and Ian cool. Me and Kelvin frat brothers, we cool, but we don't rock with each other.
Frat
so
brother.
yeah, so a lot of times my personal shit, I don't just
Yeah.
So I didn't put out. I just told them niggas I'm gonna be late.
Okay.
I was late. Period.
Yeah, I don't even think we realized that.
'Cause even when y'all left-
because even when you got there, I don't even know how you got home.
Exactly. And when
I
y'all
thought
left,
you was driving.
y'all just left. So and I had to get back home. You know what I'm saying? I didn't ask for no ride. Now I could have, but I didn't. And I just said they wouldn't have gave me one.
Right.
I was in my feelings about some shit.
Okay.
So, and then we had our meeting. So during the meeting, we talking about the meeting and stuff. And when I say creative control, I was meaning by the fact that I've been at this for like a good 2 to 3 years, right? And I've been wanting to start my company, New Voices, and produce other shows. Now I'm producing the shows I want to, made the relationships and connections I want to. So I'm doing what I really want to. But I also feel like I probably could have did some of that here for Words of KB, but I sent Kelvin, I sent you some of my work, and said, hey, I can, edit some of the shows and stuff. And Kelvin never really responded. And I'm not finna chase mine and nigga to respond. And I felt like when you were talking about like going to get professionals and paying them and shit, I'm like, you motherfuckers ain't finna tell you nothing that I can't tell you. So while you're piggybacking off of me, like, hey Keith, I need you to kind of kick in financially, I couldn't. But if you were willing to pay somebody financially for that information, then clearly that information has some type of monetary value. And I could have gave that to you. And that's how I'm processing it in my mind, but I'm also not relating it and saying it like that because I also know, and we've seen each other, I know you're going to do what you want to do. That's how people are. People don't do what they want to do. So me thinking about all of this and what's going on, I was just like, you know what? I think I should lead a podcast because why would I stay if I feel like, and then I made a remark about us doing like an LLC or something, like making the podcast like a business. And I think it was kind of like, I don't think you really understood what I was saying, or it kind of was like brushed off.
Yeah, I didn't brush it off. You asked how I said that's cool. I said that's fine.
Yeah, but then you was like 60-20-20.
I said we need to talk about how we're gonna split it up.
Yeah, but then I was like 60-20-20 is cool, but like I said, I didn't want to go forward without us like LLC in the business and doing a little bit more of the like.
Your response was you can't discount the talent.
That's what I said.
That's what you said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said, and that's what I'm saying now. Like you can't discount the talent of what I bring to the what I bring to the podcast and what I could bring to the podcast overall. Like it's some things strategically that this podcast could do that could really like we could package and take.
So let me ask this: I noticed that you kind of, had like the little dry cough laugh.
Yeah, I tried not to make no noise.
Yeah. It sounded like y'all both just wasn't on the same page about how you wanted to move the podcast forward and just kind of how to make that happen.
Well, like I said, man, I ain't never shot down nobody ideas for no podcast stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was always like, whatever. I never asked Keith for no money. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you had your own situation. But you told me.
But when you say you ain't kicking in financially,
no.
I didn't say
kicking. I ain't say financially. You said earlier on the podcast, you said you gonna put in sweat equity. I ain't never heard that term till you said it.
You know what sweat equity is.
I said I ain't never heard it till you told me about it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that's a cute word. You know what I'm saying?
Let's define what sweat equity is.
You explain.
So am I the only person that ever heard of sweat equity before?
I've heard.
I'm
this before.
assuming what it
never heard.
means, but
Okay.
go
So
ahead.
so sweat equity is, especially in the startup culture, is somebody has an idea for a business, right? The idea is there. The idea needs to be funded. So that business may cost, say, $1,000 to fund and get running. Now you have that. Sweat equity is, no, I don't have $1,000 to build a business, but what I can do is X, Y, and Z. Period. You know, or if you're gonna pay somebody to do that over here, hey, I can do that. Don't pay that person. I can do it. I saved you some money. There's a value. There's an exchange.
So what was your sweat equity? What were you, if you don't mind, I don't
Well,
want
it was gonna be showing up, coming here, right? Because first and foremost, like they said, it started with just them two being on the podcast. Then I was a guest. So then I came on. I brought something to the podcast. Now I don't live close. I have to drive and figure out how to get here. So that's the first. That's the very first thing is just me coming and being on the podcast.
At first, you was close.
Yeah, first I was close. Second thing is I was going to start bringing more of the ideas, more of the podcast stuff. Like basically after our House of Hookah meeting, like that's basically where we was at, because at this point in time, I was going to have to put in actual sweat equity. It's just like if you invest in money, you have to.
and
weigh
that's
your
when you
investment.
committed to
And that's-
giving sweat equity is at that hookah.
Well, that's what I said when it was asked what I could give. I said I could do this with equity.
Okay.
That's why when we had the second follow up meeting, and then I get that text Wednesday, I'm just like, do I really want to invest here? You know, I had to really ask myself that question: do I want to invest here? Because what I said earlier, creative control. This is, you know what I mean? It's a certain level of creative control that I would want to have that I didn't, you know, I don't even think I would have, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to have to, I've worked in these spaces before when it comes to media, and it works better in a synergy type of situation where I don't really necessarily have to ask every time. It's like we kind of know we're on the same page, so I just do. You know what I mean?
And see, that's where I think that's where it really started, where control. He realized he wasn't gonna have control after we talked about how we gonna break it up. Because I mean, he just said at the hookah meeting, that's where he decided he was gonna put sweat equity in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you just said.
Yeah, when you asked about money, I'm like, well, I don't got the money, so I could do sweat equity.
Right.
Okay.
But that's already a year and a half or whatever. You know, a year and change.
A year and a half of just bullshit. We didn't take it serious. That House of Hookah meeting was our, like we all said.
meet every week, man, doing a podcast. How is that not serious, man?
Okay, based on what we talked about at House of Hookah, that was our serious time. That was our second. That's when we came up with the whole scheme for the second season.
Okay.
Did we not? Did we not come?
Man.
Did the whole scheme for the second season not come up during the House of Hookah?
Listen what you're saying. You discounted everything I did up to a year and a half and say, now we taking it serious.
You said that, bro. There's been times we showed up when you was practicing. We didn't record for 2 or 3 hours. There's been mishaps.
Bro,
on all
that ain't no
sides.
practicing. That's me trying to figure out the process.
You
what
just
you talking
said it
about?
was practice.
It ain't no practice, man. I'm trying to figure out how to do this at the same time. Do this at the same time. Have a conversation, making sure you ain't talking over him, making sure he get to finish his thoughts, all this stuff. What you talking about? Practice, man.
Let me
You
jump
said
in.
earlier.
We talking about practice.
When Ann said when we first started doing the pod and you didn't hit record and we be talking for 2 or 3
Yeah, I
hours.
was fucking up.
Yeah, nigga, that's it went.
I think-
but then the House of Hookah meeting it's our second season. What we gonna do?
I think and Amy, I don't know if you can see this because you're kind of coming in on the after effects. So I was there for a lot of this. I think what happened is because when we first started the podcast, it was more of like something to do because I know I just like talking. I think I would say the same thing for Keith.
Yeah.
I think we really didn't take it as serious, and I think Kelvin is always taking it kind of very seriously, like as far as like, hey, we need to do this, making sure we met up and stuff like that. A lot of times if it was just up to me, I'd be like, we might not even, that's what happens with a lot of podcasts. You meet up for a couple weeks and then you stop meeting and then shit just, it die out.
So there's confusion about when y'all are pinpointing when things get
No,
serious.
the thing of it is, and sorry, not to cut you off,
Sure.
but just to kind of speak, because I was like in it. What happened is like I said, Kelvin is always taking it serious because even when he was doing his like gaming junk, he always was like trying to build up his brand and stuff like
He
that.
paid for the equipment.
So yeah, he
You know what I
bought
mean?
he bought all the equipment. He was doing all the editing. Me and Keith basically came, I would say, like, if you could say organization wise, it was like he was Phil Jackson, like, you know, coordinate everything when he was coaching Lakers. And me and Keith were like Shaq and Kobe. We just showed
Even
up.
that statement is crazy.
But like we showed
Even that statement is crazy.
like that, but
That
that's just
statement is crazy.
no, we just showed.
I understand where you just placed yourself based on the description.
I mean,
That's a different space
y'all
and
hear me?
perspective.
I'm not complaining about nothing. I know, like, we knew
our
came,
roles.
we came and we showed up and we was like, all right, it's time for a show. We didn't help set nothing up. We didn't help put nothing, take nothing apart.
So do you agree that at the hookahs when you understood like, oh, we taking this real serious?
I mean, to be totally honest with you,
That would be preferable.
I ain't really changed. I'm kind of still doing this. I try to get here a little bit earlier, but it's like what you need me to do. Like, because before it was kind of just like more of like a more freestyling, like nobody really had like clear cut roles. It was just like Kelvin kind of did everything and we showed up. But it
No
kind of
topics. We just we sit down, literally take some shots, and then just
we
hit
started
record.
talking. And Kelvin, I think he got really bogged down with a lot of stuff because it's kind of like how you said Keith wouldn't express himself. Kelvin would do a lot of stuff and get bogged down, but then not
Do all the stuff.
Yeah, he would do it, whatever, all the stuff.
You don't want to say all, but it was all.
Whatever. He would do all the stuff. We didn't
Okay.
know that he needed help. He would kind of just do everything, but he wouldn't really ask. And what happened is when he finally started, when he did get bogged down, he started asking for the help. Like I don't think he got the response from everybody that he wanted because Keith was still kind of, in the, hey, it's
feel
chill
like
mode
he
with
really
stuff.
didn't want
So
help
did
when I
he
sent
ask for
you-
help prior to the
Yeah,
hookah
that's when I
place?
sent him my examples of the shows I edited, and I ain't get no response. Like, okay, well, I'm just
Well,
gonna
what
send you the
happened
shows.
was, I think what happened was by the time, I think the meeting at the House of Hookah happened too late. Like, I think Kelvin was already kind of like on the fence of like, okay, what the fuck Keith doing with this? Like, he's starting, like, it was a lot more of like complaining and like disconnect. And I guess complaining is like a bad word, but that's just what venting, I guess.
Okay.
It was a lot more venting going on about, okay, Keith's not here for this. He's not helping with this. He's not It was like a communication thing. Like if I was late, I would just be like, hey, I'm running late. Keith would just be late.
The only way,
And then when I started saying I'll be late, it's bullshit excuses.
And-
Or even taking this shit serious. And still say he don't take it serious.
the only
you
reason.
just said
And
Listen.
Kelvin don't get hyped about it.
No.
when I said
Listen,
it.
I
But
take
y'all not
person.
agreeing on the thing is that y'all all don't agree on when
we
it
got
got serious. And so
It got
if-
serious when Kelvin asked me to be serious, and that was at the House of Hookah.
that's when it got serious for you. But
That's
prior
not-
to
that-
that, he was more serious than
I mean,
he
of course,
may have let
listen,
on.
you
But-
didn't have to tell me that because he paid for the equipment. Anybody who makes a financial investment is serious.
So was that not a signal that said,
it was a
this
signal.
shit getting
It was a
serious?
signal when I asked him how did he see the breakdown. He said, "I see it 60-20-20." In my mind, that's because.
but why
that's
wasn't it
60.
serious when he started buying equipment? It
I mean-
wasn't serious for you, or
No,
did you think
it
that it
got
was
serious.
just
I listen. I showed up and saw the equipment, so I knew it was serious when I showed up and saw.
Right.
I don't know what the initial
So
conversation.
that's all
was.
I'm saying is that at a certain point, y'all had to understand like this is important, this is serious, little points of importance, and not just because he was orchestrating. I don't know if orchestrating is the correct word,
That's
but
the right
start requiring things from you guys to start showing up. So the hookah spot one, it was the most official situation. But there were signals before that things was getting serious.
No, but
so
it
you
was.
have to be accountable for that.
We do, and like I said, I definitely take accountability. But like I said, I want folks to understand that, I didn't know how long it took with editing and all this stuff like
Right.
that. Like me and Kelvin have had different endeavors before where shit just got popping and we was kind of just bullshitting, just kind of helped
Okay.
when we could and stuff like that. And that's when I started asking him when we had that meeting. I was like, yo, you paying for this? You paying for that? Like, how much did you spend on that? And he like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, God dang, like, why you ain't tell nobody,
Yeah.
like, could have cut in to kind of split it because I didn't know that was kind of all coming down on him
Right.
because if you, like, a lot of times people think, even when you see podcasts now, like, everybody think the podcast just get put together. And especially with these celebrities, they got whole crews that do everything. Like, they just kind of plug and play. Like ours isn't kind of like that. He was doing a lot of stuff and we didn't know what was going on because it wasn't till later down the line where he was like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And we like, oh, that's when I was like, oh shit, like he doing a lot. Let me try to help or at least try to give my input and the most I could do is, be there when he says, or if I'm running late, he's big on communication. And I think Keith maybe wasn't as big on the communication, and correct me if I'm wrong. It was just like, hey, if some shit come up, like whether this would work or with my personal life, this is what happened. It is what it is. And Kelvin's like planning like he's the one that built the whole calendar for everything. He's like, hey, we need to figure this. If it's something that deviates from that, let me know. And it was just like, well, if it happens, it happens. So it was just more of, it was a big communication gap. But I do feel like the meeting at the house of Who could happen like too late. Cause I think Kelvin, and you could probably say this if you wanted, I feel like you were kind of already like, irritated. What the fuck is going on by then?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like it was like going to marriage counseling after you already sleeping in separate beds and shit. Right. I'm done with this shit.
So then that would lead back to you. I think you're going to speak to it too, but why did you communicate in the fashion that you did, timing and things like that?
Can you?
Yeah. What did you say? You said, why didn't you?
Why did you? The way that you approached the situation, like the timing, because that's kind of what I'm hearing from you guys. Like timing is important.
So I feel like they got selective memory right now. So let me. So you said that you said that we did have a meeting because at one time you sent me.
Yeah, this is
your recordings, right?
This is when you first made the remember that shit you made in things to do before the podcast. Like you had made
checklist.
Because
I needed a checklist.
You said you needed help, and then that's also you mentioned the editing thing, and that's when I sent you. That was to me that was when it was first like.
That's not okay. Let me bring this in. That's not what happened, right? So I did make a checklist. So I set up a meeting for us to meet. None of y'all showed up, but y'all said I can do a remote.
When was it?
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna go into it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna facilitate. Y'all know how I used to be. I used to be very uptight. All that bullshit back in college.
Last time you did gave somebody a checklist that didn't work out too well for you, but that's something else.
Look back at that part. That's season one.
A list.
That's season one.
Came up
Did you give somebody a list?
Your girl.
Go back to season one, everybody.
Where you gave your girl a list, but it's okay. Don't flashback.
Oh yeah, I do that. I admit. Okay. Anyway, so I said let's meet. Y'all say y'all can't make it. Y'all again told me it's late. Y'all told me it's like the day of or something. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to meet at a Starbucks or some shit.
And I don't remember that.
All right. Well, I'm about to tell you. So then y'all call in. You know what I'm saying? You going on a goddamn walk during the call. Your ass goddamn driving during the call. Y'all remember this shit?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, that was on FaceTime. We were talking though. They were still talking.
We were supposed to meet in person, but y'all told me the day of y'all couldn't do it. So then that's when you told me I do production, blah blah. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm learning this shit. You saying you already know how to do it? Why the hell you ain't said that the whole time?
Cause
you know what I'm saying, and you sending me exactly.
Everybody know you and you know this about yourself, bro. You like being in control of your project,
bro. I don't give a fuck about editing no podcast episode. Right, that's why I'm paying. Okay. I'm paying people now to do it because I don't give a fuck about it.
But okay, so go back, finish the rest of your story. I told you this is what I did.
So you told me that,
and I said
you sent me some stuff. I'm like, what he sending me for? What he sending me this stuff for? Just do it.
You asked me to send you an example. You said I didn't know you did it. Send me some examples.
Bro, he sent me them examples. He ain't say nothing else. I'm like, I don't care about the example. I don't need no example. You own the podcast. Just do it. I don't need nothing.
Examples. I need to hear. Oh, I like it or I don't. Because if you didn't like it, why would I do it?
Y'all weren't communicating.
Yeah, that's just no communication.
But
I
look,
did my part.
Frustrated.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, it's both sides. Though.
I ain't hear nothing else about it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, he ain't trying to do the shit. You know, I'm overwhelmed. We doing a live show. You know, you left out the point. We doing a live show every Tuesday. And then releasing that same episode the next day and creating social media shit on top of all the other shit, right? So that shit, doing that every week, I'm like, I can't keep doing this shit. So that's when we get to the point where I'm like, okay, we need to come up with a strategy. I can't do this shit every week, right? So we start doing that. Now, you made a comment about me letting Ian slide on shit. The only reason I don't be on Ian like that because I know Ian, right? I asked Ian to do. Ian can't do technical shit. He not a technical person. You know what I'm saying? You got the skills. I know Ian don't know how to do that shit. But if I ask Ian, no, he can't. He can't do this shit. Look, but when I asked Ian to show up, Ian there.
Ian.
You know what I'm saying? Ian, when I really asked Ian to show up, you said that about Ian on one of the episodes. You said I could. You said I could depend on Ian.
He's the dependable.
Now mine had an asterisk by that because sometimes his ass be late as fuck, and that ain't dependable to me. But what I'm saying is, if I ask him to go to a podcast event, that motherfucker kill some customer service. We with some people. His ass is a social butterfly. This my social butterfly, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Social butterfly.
Bitch, that's what you is.
Can I get some? I gave him lone wolf. We couldn't think of something masculine.
Bro, what's right? It's boys
Social
and
beetle?
girl butterflies.
Beetle?
What you want to be, a caterpillar?
Give me a beetle. I like beetles. Okay.
Yeah, beetles ain't social.
Social beetle.
Okay,
Social beetle.
a social beetle. So this
Beagle.
this
Can I be a busy bee?
Busy bee. There you go. Busy bee. He's your busy bee. He's your busy bee.
Okay.
No, see, god dang,
Okay.
we didn't fuck it
social
up.
beehive. Anyway, so I got him. I'm like, okay, he's showing up the stuff. He doing that. You know what I'm saying? I like, okay, that's his lane. He'll go on the Instagram page. You know, he'll comment on stuff. I'm paying attention to all this stuff. I like, okay, I know what he do. I just could never place you. You just can't sit down, and then you always had this attitude like you the star. You want to be the star. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not the star, you don't want to be a part. You always been that way ever since college.
That's what. Then I feel like that right there is the tension because you think that I want to be the star. I just so happen to be put in the star role, bro. I specifically said I want to be in the background. Bro. Everybody who and maybe you don't know this, but everybody who really rock with me know Keith will play the background. I produce shows.
Listen, I don't know
you
that.
said star role, is that as a star of the three or star as
No,
in
I'm just saying
three?
like if I have to put on
person.
if we have a step show and I have to be in the front of the step, I'm gonna do the shit.
Man, everybody,
I'm gonna show out. If I have to be on this microphone, I'm gonna give y'all a motherfucking show. That's why everybody was like, "Oh, Keith, like he has so much fun on the podcast."
Look,
I'm gonna put on for
everybody know Keith.
Everybody know Keith gonna give you the show.
Exactly. This don't
if you
match
want the
up
show,
with I'll be in the background.
If you want the show, baby, I'm gonna give you
That
the show.
doesn't match up with being
That
in
don't
the
match.
background, though. We'll
It
say
do.
that.
Man,
It do to me.
It just says
Because
you prefer to be back there, but if I have to be here, I will show up and do what I need to do.
you just said it.
But that doesn't mean that does not show up as you want it to be the star. So
Okay,
that
I
can be
accept
just
that.
as correct.
I can accept that.
Yeah.
As long as you said the first part,
Yeah, I mean, all that's true.
so then I accept the last part. So okay, so then go back then because I can accept it.
Yeah,
so
all
that's what
that
you mean.
shit.
I get that.
Yeah, so that's why I had to disconnect with, you know, Ian, and then we got Miss Keith over here. He sit down and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really tripping on him because he has the talents and he don't do them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you hear me talking about paying people. You know, even when he left the show, even when he left the show, he want to say he want to do background stuff. When you know I just finished talking about paying people for that.
No, I'm gonna cut you off on that.
He could have just went behind the scenes. I could have been paying him.
What happened at House of Hookah when I said, man, you could pay me to tell you that? You said, what's I'm gonna pay you to tell me, nigga? That's exactly what you said to me. You said, what if I'm gonna pay you to tell me?
That don't even sound like me, bro.
That's what you said. That's exactly.
I said that, but you heard me say that.
You said. What if I'm gonna pay you?
They do
for?
sound like you.
I don't know.
Do that sound like you?
I don't think that sound like
What if
me.
I'm gonna
Say
pay
it
you
again.
for? Like what if I'm gonna pay you for?
What the fuck I'm gonna pay you for, nigga?
When you was talking about paying these people, I'm like, bro, I could tell you this same shit. You like, what you gonna tell me?
So I'm gonna ask a question.
Like you, bro, like
don't know about
you have to admit that you never respected my podcast account.
Bro, you never showed me nothing. You never showed
I'm not
action.
gonna beg you.
You ain't gotta beg. You ain't never show no action, man.
What I gotta show?
Bro, do something.
I think
Like what?
Well, I'll
all the stuff you talking about you can do.
Bro,
let's let
let me ask the
the
question.
therapist give her
Yeah.
synopsis because this.
Woo, take a breath. First of all, both of you.
It's going a lot better than I thought.
Yeah,
Really?
me too.
All right.
Because ultimately, the reason why I really left is because Kelvin, Ian know this. Me and Kelvin have a rocky relationship, right?
Yeah.
But over the course of this podcast year, I feel like me and Kelvin got closer.
Yeah,
feel like we
y'all
was getting
spending
cool.
time.
Yeah, we were spending time, and then once it got to that point where Kelvin was getting I felt that angst again. I was like, I'd rather leave and still be cool with Kelvin than stay and be going back and forth with this nigga on some podcast shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, true. That's the flat out truth. Like, that's why it's kind of going better than you thought. Because if I had it my way, I wouldn't really leave, but I wouldn't stay with any angst.
But he's saying angst happened. But look, what I thought
Like,
was
you saw
I was
the writing?
like,
I saw the writing too.
but this one, okay.
So it was expected.
It's on
And you
both
can
sides.
see it
Bruh,
happening.
No, I listen. If Keith wouldn't have left, I would have been cool. Me, I'm like, okay, have a conversation. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's make some shit happen. I'm always trying to accommodate. I'm like, hey man, well what you? Oh
shit.
Oh, that's too much money.
God damn, let me see that bottle.
But son.
What's
This
the
is not
value?
the
Were they down
moment.
that?
Anyway.
Were all of them
That
things
is
down
not
that
the
low,
moment
Kelvin?
to spill something.
But so
all
That
those
would have
down
been
that
the
low?
worst spill ever.
so anyway,
You need to be listening still. Well, you fuck around, this shit be going into space. Yeah, please listen.
so
Yeah.
I'm accommodating. I'm like real accommodating now. You know,
Kelvin, don't say that, because nigga, you just complained about us doing a FaceTime meeting when you wanted us to be in person.
Okay,
Like,
can I speak to that?
You can't say
Can
you
I say
accommodating
something
if
to
you
that?
don't say
Because
it.
what y'all keep pointing at is that there is a control issue. Do you think that's true, or did it show up in that way?
this a question for me?
Yeah, because they keep pinpointing you as as a person that wants to have some type of control over or directing or lead. What's the word that's more appropriate than control? Because that's what they kind of can agree on.
I don't know if that's maybe we need a thesaurus or something. I don't know. What I'm saying is we started doing a podcast, but we ain't really have no direction. Now, I don't know, me coming in and saying, shit, man, we need some direction, because people telling me, I'm asking for feedback on the podcast. They like, well, y'all started here and y'all end up going here and y'all can't, it seems like y'all ain't got no focus. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I come in and say, okay, let's have a topic where we can go wherever, but let's stay on topic. You know what I'm saying? To me, that ain't control. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to direct us in a place that makes sense. That's all I thought I was ever doing. Like, okay, let's have a meeting. Let's put our heads together and talk about some shit. Whoa, that's control? I'm just trying to let us talk.
That's not what we talking about though. You talking about when you out your mouth you say, I'm a very accommodating person. Okay, so if that's true, if me and Ian say we can't be in person, let's do it remote. Remote sounds accommodating, but you can't complain the whole time while we meeting remote. That sound accommodating.
I accommodate and say okay. I say okay.
And you correct me if I'm wrong, because we got real therapists here, so maybe I'm technically wrong.
I guess
that's how I hear it. Like,
what Keith is saying,
it's like a girl saying, I don't want to go, but you're going anyways.
Well,
like
understand.
Well, I guess how I get from there, because I didn't even know that was an issue, and obviously it was an issue for you because you still bringing it up.
Bruh, we listen, man. I don't know how y'all do shit at work or whatever. And because
we work different jobs. You would say I'm a nonprofit.
This what I understand. Cause he a hard fucking worker. He be telling me about calls and shit he be on, and I'm like,
that nigga be looking stressed.
Yeah, he be looking stressed as fuck with a little tie, a little loose tie, looking like the bitch ready to shoot some shit up. So I be like. I know this nigga ain't showing up late to them meetings. I know he ain't goddamn. We had a conference call. This nigga driving, doing everything else. He taking out the trash, walking down the street doing. I'm like, y'all niggas can't sit down for 10 minutes and have a conversation.
We still was paying attention.
No, they was not.
I was giving you feedback. As far as I knew,
there was
we
an
was
expectation for y'all to level up on that.
Sit
call.
down.
That's all that was.
I didn't know that. I thought this was.
Go back to season 1 where we talked about
get
expectations.
in where you fit in. I thought that's what it was.
That's very true. Y'all all had some type of expectation for each other, and y'all ain't meet them. Nor did you talk about them, because that's what they saying to you, is that you didn't express them in a timely manner.
And nobody talked. Because when I took that text and Kelvin said back, okay, I knew we wasn't going to talk. Because I kind of was hoping maybe Kelvin would call, and I probably felt I should have called. But when I'm going through like my personal shit, and this is just my problem. Everybody know this about me. When I'm going through my personal shit, I go in my shell, I handle my shit. So all that outside
Charles
shit,
I was ghost. And the
so
only person
Charles
that
I was self.
only one that have Keith number is me. But one thing I can say,
Yeah,
not
the
to get
number
into
too,
that,
y'all.
I did feel some type of way because Kelvin, he just sent that message to Kelvin, and I had to hear through the grapevine that he wasn't coming back on the pod. Because when me and him had the conversation, I didn't really take nothing from it. It wasn't
I
like,
told you I was like, I'm thinking I'm gonna leave.
but there still wasn't a final like bye and then like, hey, bruh, I'm not coming. Like I still had to hear it from Kelvin from a text message. Like I still never got a message from you. Like, hey, bruh, you know that conversation we had. Like I'm not fucking with it no more. Even if it was some, you know, I ain't no mushy nigga and nothing like that. I don't need no extra shit. But it would have been nice to cause to me, me personally, when I was thinking, I feel like what would have been a better thing is for you to be like, hey, I want to do the background stuff. Cause I know you can do both. So I know that you say like, hey, I like being in the ground, but I feel like you like to shine too.
Yeah,
like, cause
you do.
Yeah,
Keith like to shine.
When I first watched
when it comes to the podcast, y'all don't understand.
Keith, you like to shine.
Before I came on the podcast,
I said that.
you were dominant in conversation.
Every conversation we had feedback
Dominant in
saying
conversation. Never, not talking about what you were saying, but you were dominant in conversation. I could tell Ian would, and not because I'm whatever therapist, whatever, but it was like you can tell that you were very dominant in conversation. That you had other things to ask, but sometimes you weren't getting in there, and then Ian had the jokes and would linger and just kind of shoot off through the rabbit holes. You know what I mean? But it did present that way. So that's why I understand like the start part. And then when you get to know a person past like the business part is I actually like being in the background, but I'll do what I gotta do here.
That just would have been nice to have like like it should have been like a conversation like, hey, like this is how I'm feeling. Like if we can't meet this way, then I may have to part ways, but that conversation never happened. It was just like, I'm out.
Where does respect stand in all that? In the mix of like hookah meeting all the way to I'm not doing this anymore. Like where did respect show up or not show up? Like how does that play a role?
I mean, I guess it didn't show up, but I can say I should apologize, especially because I didn't say anything to Ian. I just left. I didn't call and just have a grown conversation. But, you know, it's not an excuse, but...
Well, don't follow it up with but.
I mean, it's a but. It's a conjunction because when I was going through my shit at the other spot, and then I had to, like, you know, move and get a new car and do all this shit. Like, it was a lot of shit happened for me in that short period of time that, you know, I feel like I should have been able to display, but then... because we was going through so much shit, it was like I really felt like the podcast came first, and like if that's how I felt, and I really cherished what we had better, I would rather step away, let them do their pod, and not fuck it up. Come back like this, make my amends, and let the podcast still be great. Because I don't know how cool we really would be if I was going through all that bullshit and I was holding up production on the podcast and I'm the reason why season 2 gets fucked up or on hold. Because even when we talked about the schedule, and I was like,
you can't do all except him.
I told all August. I told I couldn't do none of August.
Wait a minute, you gonna be on it?
I said I can't do. No, I said I can't do any recording in August.
Yeah, he said he can't do
I said I can't do any recording in August.
That was some bullshit to me.
But yeah, I hear that.
So that's what I'm saying.
That was me. That's some bullshit.
So once you respond like that, so I don't get offended.
I didn't respond to that. I didn't respond.
I know that's
in my head. I was like, that's some bullshit.
Exactly.
If you can find a day, my nigga.
What would not have been?
How could I find a day when I'm going through a breakup? I gotta move out. I gotta get a new car.
So you was in a relationship or you was unsingle?
I was unsingle, but I had to break up and move the fuck out.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And get my own spot.
We talked about that.
I had to do all this shit in a short period, quicker than I thought I had to. That means I had to make some concessions and do some other things. Yeah. On top of school starting back and getting my kids in school and shit too, and then my nonprofit job and getting my kids over there right. So all of that shit comes before the podcast. And because I know Kelvin, his lifestyle is set up totally differently, and it would come off as bullshit to him. And because I really like what me and Kelvin was building, and I don't want to let that shit bother what we had, sure. I can say, okay, yeah, you might think it's bullshit, cool, I'll leave. Because it might be bullshit to you. I'll let that bullshit stay in the podcast and let's just stay being cool, because to me, over the course of that year, what I realized is I like these guys. You know what I mean? And no,
Hold on.
It's a bromance. Chill.
Yeah, I mean, no, bro, because you gotta realize this is like the first year that we all kind of got back because I've been gone, Kelvin been dating, you been getting married.
You could take it back farther than that. That's why I said I was talking to somebody. I was like, you listen to all our stories in the 20s. Keith ain't never in them Atlanta stories. Because you was not around us.
My lifestyle was different.
Because you was like, you had all kind of stuff going on.
Well,
it was me, Ian, and Brad.
2 kids. I was about to get married and you know what I mean, all the other shit.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We reconnected back on the podcast, and when we started doing that, you know, I said, I'm starting to see Keith in a different light because I really didn't get along with you in college.
Yeah, we did.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, he just want to be in the spotlight. It's always some bullshit. Then he got this, and he like emotional. And back then, I wasn't about emotions and shit. I was like just a regular nigga. I was like, I ain't with all this shit. So when you start coming on the podcast, I was like, oh man, hey, Keith done grew. In my head, I was like, oh, Keith done changed. Keith done grew up. But maybe I was just getting to know who you was or whatever. So I was like, oh, this shit cool. But then, like I said, we had the business shit start. I'm like, oh, these niggas ain't handling business. That's how I was looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm like, okay. Well, we didn't know when we all said this podcast is serious. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I if I go for some shit, I'm going in that motherfucker.
Yeah. And see,
right?
I didn't know that about you. It wasn't until like Kelvin started doing little things like the pictures so that's in my mind I was like, okay, because even being on the pod, nobody really asked me to officially be a part. I just saw pictures and I was like, okay, I'm rocking.
We did ask you,
did you
man.
ask? But I'm saying I saw the pictures, but it wasn't asked
way before them pictures, man.
No, it wasn't asked on like no business shit. And you know how I know? Because if it was, I would have asked you the same conversation we had at the House of Hookah. I would have had at that time. Like, well, if it's gonna be on some business shit, what are you paying for this? And like, let's itemize
we had the conversation.
Like,
I said, what you think about Keith being on the podcast? We had that conversation a long time ago, man.
But I'm saying being on business wise is different. Like, I think that's where it broke down because once it turned to business. How I operate in business.
So you didn't see y'all as business partners on the podcast. It was just business and your feature.
Well, that's what it came to House of Hookah for me. That's when it came to House of Hookah. When I realized, we doing serious. This is about to be a real type business. And the podcast was actually, because even the whole seasons thing, pre-recording, doing all that, because the podcast, how I saw it was, okay, we can do it this way. But how I operate in business is, bro, you can't be my business partner if you think that me telling you that my car broke down is some bullshit, or if I can't record in August is some bullshit.
I never said that. I said you not being able to find a day in a whole month.
You think that's bullshit, and that's okay. You can have that feeling, but my business partner can't have that feeling. So that's when I realized we can't do the podcast business together.
Yeah,
because I do business with other people that understand that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I guess at the end of the day, like it was. I think you could say it was definitely creative differences. Kelvin's one of those people. He's like very like I'm still struggling with organization and structure, even with my job, because it was times where even at my job, like I was late and stuff, and I had to be like, I got to change some shit for some shit happens affect your life. Yeah. So Kelvin was the one that kind of created a lot more structure and was always more structured than the rest of us. And he's one of those people. It's like, all right, these are the options. These are what I'm trying to do. Give me some feedback. I don't know if he has a time in his head, but it's like, if you don't give feedback, but it's time, we rolling with what I said. And it's not more of like a dictatorship. It's just like, I'm ready to roll with this. Give me your feedback on what's going on. If you don't respond in a timely manner, I'm rolling. And I'm not saying nothing is wrong with that. I'm just saying that's how I rolled. And I feel like that's what happened a lot of times because we didn't really move to your speed. Like it was like, hey, it's go time. Let's get it. And we like kind of just pacing, like chilling, like, all right, this shit fun. Like, and it was like, this shit real. Cause it's like podcasts to me, the reason why I got in podcasts, it's more of like a stress reliever. I'm at work 14, so hours per day. When I usually come here like straight from work and shit. So it's like chill. Like I come talk about some shit. This is like my frat house days. We reminisce, talk about shit, and kind of just keep it rolling from then. And then it was like I was noticing all the stuff Kevin was doing. I was like, all right, I got to start putting some more effort into this. And I think that's what happened because you guys already had that slight friction. And then it's like when it got to a certain level, it was just like butting heads. So now that I kind of can step away and look at it, it probably worked out better that you kind of separated yourself. I wish you would have did it a better way, but maybe it did work out better that you kind of separate yourself and then it come in some big blown up thing or something like that. Because that's where it was like leading to, because not the meeting at the hookah thing, but the meeting that we had when we were supposed to meet at the house and then you canceled. Like, I was like, this like personal shit being brought up and all this shit like that. Not necessarily like really personal, but like it was just like, it wasn't really a discussion. It was more like an argument. Like, you're not doing this. You're not doing this. Well, I did that. I tried to tell you about that. And I was like, well, it wasn't that meeting. I remember that junk, like just sitting there. I felt like I was like a kid watching their parents arguing and shit.
That's exactly how you look.
Like it wasn't productive at all. I was like,
it was like, yeah, Keith, you should text. Well, Keith did text, did.
I was like, the fuck, like, I'm missing out on sleep because it is like, what's going on? But like I said, I do feel like I wish it could have ended in another way. That's why I had to make sure we got you on this pod, because I told you all the time, even when we had certain subjects, I was like, damn, we missed Keith's input on this shit, or whatever like that. Cause and it's not like, okay, since you're not on the pod 24/7 no more, like you can't come fuck with it no more. It's just like, the shit that you was doing, like, and that you was going through, it kind of superseded. And unfortunately, at your time, you had to step away. And like, me personally, I don't feel like nothing's wrong with that. I feel like that's a adult thing to do. If you're like, hey, this shit is not gonna fit into my life right now. It's just a way that you do things, especially with you creating your own business lane and stuff like that. The podcast world, especially Black podcast world, it's small, so we don't want to have that thinking like, damn, we can't even fuck with Keith on no business level because this how he gonna operate. Because I know you very business savvy. You didn't been doing this shit like from when we used to come and just sit and look at the radio station. So I know you've been doing this shit when you used to get paid for that shit. You was, one of us been paid to podcast. So it was, like I said, it was kind of disheartening. I knew it may come to that time where you would probably dip. I didn't know it was gonna happen then. I was like, at least we're gonna get 2 seasons out, and we didn't know you was gonna KD us and dip. We thought we sit there like Steph and Clay. Like,
I tried to make it to season 2. It really was like when we had that last argument that Ian was talking about, and I really was like, I can't record in August, is because I knew all this shit was going on. And when Kevin was just like, all right, I was like, you know what? I don't want us to blow up. Like, and I know how this podcast should go. Like, I season 3 is something different. Like, there's so many opportunities in what we got going on. It's just that my whole thing was to make sure the podcast was still successful. 1, 2, make sure we were still cool, and then 3, make sure I had my life in order, because there have been times where I didn't do that and try to save face by still trying to go out and hang out and do shit, and that's bad decisions on my part. So this was like the first time I was just like, I gotta get all my shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, people probably heard on the pod or over the course of the pod, like, I've been going through quite a bit in these past 2 years. So for me to like get to where I'm at now, I'm saying, I just had to sit back and pat myself on the back. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm glad I was able to come back on. And that's why this conversation went way better than you probably thought, because it really ain't no ill will. It's really just the fact that because we did this before. See, we've been frat brothers, you know what I'm saying? We came to blows, like we came to head real heavy before, and I saw what brought that out. And normally what brings that out between me and you is this lack of communication and lack of understanding. Now, I don't take it personal.
I also add lack of relationship too.
Well, we're building. Like over the course of the year, we built. You know what I'm saying? And that's
but because there was a lack there wasn't the willingness to understand or to communicate. There wasn't a willingness to understand or communicate certain things because, well, one, calling somebody else's situation and reasons bullshit kind of stops someone from wanting to communicate anyway, right?
And I never said that, y'all. He just said he knew I was thinking that,
because you said that to me before.
I was thinking that. I just didn't say it.
Or you might tell somebody else that's bullshit.
No, I was thinking it for
right.
sure.
But if someone thinks that their reason is bullshit, I'm not gonna give you I'm not gonna continue to communicate that to you. The other thing is that was personal stuff, and you didn't feel a real close personal relationship with him like you did Ian. So that's not stuff you would say to him, but that's stuff that would matter differently in the way that you could have approached the situation. Does that make sense?
It does.
But I understand the relationship just wasn't there.
Well, then let me ask you this, because there's also a part of what Kelvin was talking about earlier, right? Mm-hmm. It felt good because I know how me and Kelvin's relationship is, and I have changed. So for Kelvin to kind of recognize that in what we were doing felt good as well. So I didn't want to say too much of my personal shit because I almost didn't want it to change, like for you to think like, Keith don't handle my business, because I'm out here handling my business. You know what I'm saying? Like New Voices is doing some shit out here. So I don't want nobody to think that the old Keith is the same Keith.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I could be real and say I probably should have came out and said it. I could be real and say I probably should have came out and told you what was up. You know what I mean? I probably should have flat out said, like, I can't record in August because I don't know what the bit back going on. I don't know if she finna kick me out. I don't know if I had to get this car. I don't know if I had to do this.
And that's serious.
Homegirl got a star rolling.
Yeah, that's serious. That's serious-ish. And I think the disconnect, like I said, definitely was communication. I think it's because when it wasn't serious stuff like that, and it was just like, well, shit going on, I'm running late, there was still no communication. So it's like when it was real shit going on, and then you still not communication, Kelvin thinking that like this is the same old bullshit like before, and it's not really knowing, because you know we all got love for each other. It's nobody's gonna tell somebody, hey, I'm down and out on this, and they're gonna be like, fuck it, like nah.
But we had a conversation on that at one point. It might have been through text or something. Yeah. It was like because we don't share like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, a nigga will help you out if you need it, but we were just not in a place to, you know, that relationship wasn't there where we would share that. But I was like, nigga, we can help each other out. You know what I'm saying? But it just, you know, we had that conversation, man. I remember that shit.
Yeah, you said it. I just, you know,
you didn't take it up.
I didn't take it all the way up because, you know, it's that, and you know, just expressing my feelings, because like when it comes to this podcast shit, bro, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like maybe a little slighted, because I'm like, damn, other motherfuckers will pay me. This nigga won't. You know what I'm saying? Don't even think about. You know what I'm saying? And which is all personal. I understand maybe it's just how you see how I handle business, but you know what I mean? It's okay with me, because it's not like it stopped what I had going on with it. It just, you know, just a little.
Yeah, you've talked about like 2020, what you would have done differently, or that you kind of holding certain stuff accountable. But for everybody, would y'all have done something differently when it came to communication, commitment? Like, what would that have been?
I guess I can kind of start it off with me. I probably would have, when I think I should have probably communicated more, because I know it was times where I, like, most of the time you kind of know it's little one-offs, but a lot of times I knew what was going on, and I just, it's keeping a schedule. Like if you got this going on at work, like I know this meeting or I got this training coming up, like at least a week or two in advance. And it's like, but if I don't communicate that, and I know Kelvin's had this already set up, and he's asking like, hey, this is going, if this is going on, like, let me know, hey, are you able to come to this? And nobody responds to his message. But he do send hella messages in that damn group me. I was like, or the message thing, I be like, this shit all day. I be like, God damn.
Ain't even 3 of us in that motherfucker. Like, I'm talking about sending a message like, nigga, is anybody else here?
Yeah, like he sends a lot of messages in that motherfucker. I be like, I'm gonna respond to the last 2.
I didn't see the other one.
No, I didn't see the first 6.
No, I gotta send some bullshit. Then nigga be like,
And then he be like, gotcha. I be like, yeah, that's
Everybody don't laugh at shit. Nigga, when you meet me, fuck.
That's exactly how
he
shit go.
He do that shit. He do that now. Like I'll send him like something funny. He'll be like,
but
well, what about that last minute, my nigga?
I ain't letting that shit go.
Right. That's funny.
And people's communication is better because I've always kind of been like that. I ask people to be kind of direct with me because I can't see a lot of times when it's that long stream, and sometimes when you get sometimes just don't come through. So it's like a lot of times now, like he'll just send me like a direct message. Like it'll be like, hey, this going on. And then that'll also give me time because usually like I'm running and ripping and running all day. And usually towards the end of the day is when I'll sit and I'll look through my phones or all my missed text messages and emails and stuff like that. So now I just make sure to look through, and even and I think I learned that from my manager. Like sometimes when somebody's sending all the messages, they want to just know that you looked at them. Because sometimes most of the time I look at them, but I won't say nothing. So now I make sure to be like, yeah, I saw that, or I'll make a comment. Because if somebody's giving you so much,
burping this way, bro.
I know, right?
Oh, it's birthday burp. But if if someone's giving you all that feedback and taking the time to put that in, because everybody's time is important.
Absolutely.
Keith's time is important. Your time is important. Mine, Kelvin's as well. So, and nobody's time is more important than anybody else's. What'd you say?
It's birthday talk.
That nigga ain't even finished the shot.
We on the same one.
I don't think she drunk one the whole
No,
night.
you.
My bad.
I'm on
Way
6.
back. Go back
the
into
bottle
your-
gone.
Oh,
I ain't see you take it first one.
It
but
ain't
listen.
about what's going on in this cup.
What's in, that's water over there. You
Water.
diluting whatever you drinking. But anyways,
Mind your business.
but no,
Mind your
but
business.
I don't want the whole. I wanted this to be like a episode where we got everything out in the air, but I don't want it to be like such a somber and kind of whole episode. So I think I think we got a better understanding of where everybody was coming from. I think we could kind of say that everything ain't 100, but it's just like at least you can know, like, okay.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, but what else is going on with Mr. New Voices? Yeah, because I saw that.
Tell us what that is.
Even when I saw that on your post, I was like, oh, that's dope. And then it kind of made, because what's crazy is I saw you post that before I saw Kelvin's message. So I saw that, and then I thought about our conversation. I was like, Keith finna turn up with his shit. I was like, good. Because I've always told you that, like, you need to use your talents. Like, you do that shit. So that was cool to see. So can you speak on that a little bit more on what's going on with that?
So New Voices is new, like KNEW, the capital N. And it's the whole, I got it from when I was at the radio station. So when I was at the radio stations, internet radio, shout out to IBNX, Instinct Radio, Fusion. And I was going to a bunch of different internet radio stations. Then I started working at one, and then I started realizing, like, man, there's a lot of just dope ass people out here. Like, just people that, I mean, like yourself, like Black Therapists, Cool Dads Rock, just so many different. It was so many different shows there. So I was like, man, it's a lane for people who've been doing the work to have a platform. Then I found out about podcasting. So then I was just trying to get into that field, but I was at a time in my life where I wasn't even confident in myself, so I wasn't even pushing it like that. I was just running behind the internet radio. So then I launched New Voices after this because in podcasting, well, that's why I really respect this conversation, and that's why I really didn't want to leave with no ill will, because what the podcast thing really did was get me out of my shell. Like, you don't realize how many.
How far in the shell were you?
When I first started the podcast, I was still living in my dad's house.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So now
like,
when you came on here.
Yeah, like, so I didn't want to leave
that.
the house. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was that low. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck, I'm 30-something, living in my dad's house, 2 kids. Like, I'm fucked up out here. So for me, like,
he made it comment. He said he ain't want to fuck. He ain't want to date no girls. He said not right now.
That's why I wouldn't date. That's why I was saying
I remember.
Even the last is way up.
You went where you wanted
Amy
to be.
says they wasn't really trying to date you anyway, because you got to take the girls out.
Exactly.
What part of this? When did you hear me say that?
You thought it.
Exposing.
I'm just saying that's a good way to think about things.
so
Why are
then-
you gonna bring
That was
another
the-
boo into the
Look,
situation?
ladies
and you ain't
always
where you
say
at?
that, like they be like, you not. But see, I feel like that's put on us as men. Like, it's like, you not ready to date. Don't nobody ever tell these ladies you not ready.
He just said he wasn't ready to date. This is a confirmation. If I'm in a position where I'm not at my own.
Lots of ladies that don't have $3 to roll together and will go out. Ladies nights, we out.
That nigga said the roll together.
That might mean that they not ready to date either, but they might do it anyway.
I ain't never heard nobody when she not ready to get a free meal.
Oh Lord, I'm not going into season one with that conversation.
What that post said?
1/3 of women go out for food, free food.
Yeah, foodie calls.
Do you feel like that's free? I mean,
what's free?
Do you feel like that's
that root beer get to you, boy?
Do you feel like that's true?
What?
Foodie call?
Because like, have you heard that? Have you heard that? Because to me, you always
don't let Jameson see this episode. I'm tired.
No,
of
and not to. I don't want to get on the whole. But I was just saying because nobody really talks about that. But like, it's a lot of pressure put on men. And not saying it's not on women, but as far as like, okay, you got to be able to be a provider before you even try to approach a woman. But nobody ever turns around and tells that woman like, what are you bringing to the table?
I think the thing is that most men want to be in a position to provide. There are times when women might run into a man and they play around or play the field, but it's like, I ain't ready really to commit because I can't provide for nobody. So what? So
you talking about that's what the man says?
Yeah.
But you don't.
They want to be able to provide so that they can make a move, and it's the way that they want to do it.
But you don't think that's because that's how we've been taught by society? Like, you need to be a provider before you can even step to her.
No, I think that's just a man's thing. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what society.
I'm saying
that's what society have taught you.
But I think it's nature.
Yeah,
I think it's both. You're gonna want to do that. Period.
Like, you can fall, but I can't meet you in this fallen state. Like, if I had all my shit together and then I failed, but we're dating while I fail, that's different. But I can't meet you and I'm at my daddy.
But look, what's the origin of it? But like, would you like when
I think tradition, yes,
see, and it's. I'm not saying that women are putting out this thing because men do it. We just naturally do it too. I'm just saying, like, there's never been a time where you've like. No, yes, it's natural, but I'm just saying there hasn't been a time where, like I talk about all the time, men don't have standards. It's not a time where, and men don't. We usually don't have standards. You got a fat butt and a smile. We with it.
That's not all men.
Most of listen.
Not
have
even
you
a full
Kelvin?
Not even us. I don't know how to keep it. I ain't like that.
You gotta have a couple more things.
Come on, now.
Bro. You know I ain't never been like that now.
Kelvin, no. That was the very dumb. That was a very dumb. Listen, that was a very dumb. Listen, that was the very dumbed down version. But Kelvin, have you ever been like, man, I can't talk to that girl because she ain't got no job?
Yeah.
No, I ain't
never
said that.
You've never said that?
But that's because of this position. But at that time, I was at my dad's house. The podcast was
what the fuck you look like telling her you can't talk to her? I don't understand that. Yeah, what you mean? That's what he was saying. He was saying that on the podcast.
I was telling women, like, I would meet girls and they still trying to holler at me, but I was.
No. I'm saying, what would you? I'm talking about as you ever meet a woman? Would you ever see a woman who you thought was attractive?
Single.
Listen, you're at a different. We're all at different mind states now because we're older. Right. I'm talking about when you was in your heyday, when you was just smashing whatever. Would you be like, I ain't fucking with her. She stay with her peoples.
Well, that's
she ain't got no car.
The age though.
That's
like,
but
you made the difference is the age.
We had just got out of school.
We talking about now.
We talking about now, like, bro.
So right now, where you are, would you say that?
I couldn't have did that, bro.
Hypothetically.
I couldn't do that. So the podcast was getting me out. I was.
But I'm just saying. Would you far as the average men standards for women, like? They're just lower. Like we don't look at them like, all right, cool. I may pay for this, pay for that, but would I not talk to her if she can't do the same? Like if I'm down on my luck.
You know how men do. Men put women in categories based on what they have. So no, I probably won't date a woman without a job. But why I took a girl out without a job and take her out to eat? Yeah, because you know what comes with that.
You think she would want to date you without a job?
She probably would.
But I think it's more than that. Like
you look at the potential of a person, right? Like
you looking at potential of the women. That's what women do for us. We not looking at no.
So
what potential you see her?
So you would say my ex, right? You was like, she ain't had no job.
You shouldn't have been fucking with her.
You shouldn't have been fucking with her.
You should have. She didn't have no job. She wasn't doing nothing, bro.
But as a man, you know what comes with that. You know, like, okay, she got no job. She can be here every day.
That was like
where you at?
That was your equivalent. That was your equivalent of dating a dude to just sleep on the couch.
She had no job.
Because where else you gonna be?
Minding her business.
Who drive your car?
What business you got?
It's not like that though.
She might want to pay her nails. She might want to use his money.
We got 3 different conversations. So maybe we can
use my money. Yeah, you better.
Hey, but can we have one conversation?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is how that go for me. It was more so like, I see that it's just a moment in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
did you see it as a moment then, though?
For sure.
Hell no.
Like, I feel like you can see a person and say, like, I know that.
Be a moment?
Yeah, this is a moment. Like, it
depends on how long you know that.
You saw that as a moment. You knew when it, because like I said, I didn't even know y'all were serious. Y'all got serious. That wasn't no moment.
Y'all talked about
y'all dated.
That wasn't no moment.
Because they did talk about being free flowing and not really.
No,
having
they dated. I didn't even know they were dating.
As a listener,
it wasn't dating. You were just paying for it. You were.
And she still didn't have a job.
You were her sponsor for a year. It wasn't no dating.
Because I met somebody. I met somebody while I was at my dad's house, and still talk to this person to this day. And we was laughing like, "Damn, what if I was still at my dad's house? Like, you would be looking at me like this bum ass nigga."
I just found this shit.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was at my dad's house. Podcasting got me out.
Nah, it's a little gift shit.
Oh, what happened? It went away.
I appreciated it. You know what I mean? I just showed up.
So is that everybody could tell I liked black screen?
And then
I'm just saying, can
you
we
just keep interrupting him trying to finish his story about being at his daddy's house?
It was at his dad's house. It wasn't shit popping.
It wasn't shit popping.
And then
we started podcasting, and then the internet, the radio station, that situation kind of dissolved. The investor kind of pulled out, so I had to leave that situation too. And then started podcasting here, and then once we started getting more serious here, and I still was doing my research stuff, and I had produced some shows before. Those people were saying, "Hey man, what's up? Let's get back on production." And then I was able to get my own equipment, and then I started back my new voices. And what I do now is I produce. Right now I got Black Man Lab. It was just on CBS last night, CBS 46.
Congratulations.
Black Man Lab every Monday, 6:30. Andrew Young, YMCA. It's a safe space for black men to meet. No social media, no recording for the first 2 hours. And after that, that's when I record the podcast. It's called the Black Man Lab Afterflow, where all the panelists come on. They talk about
what's the age range.
We have young people in there as young as 5. We have elders in there all the way to 85. Over about 65 to 100 brothers meet every Monday. Talk about fatherhood, sports, tech, health, and so that's one of my passion projects. Attorney Maui Davis, civil rights attorney, he hosts it. So I produced that show. My boy Eldridge, I produced his show again. We're doing some numbers over there. I got 2 more shows in the tuck. I got one with the ex-NFL football player. He wants to get some content out there, so we recording his shows. And now I'm officially part of the Black Pod Collective. Holla, shout out.
Oh, cool.
They got me on there doing some editing for their content.
That's
so we
cool.
got some things about to roll out. And
this like a CBS receipt.
Yeah, and then we had the Russell. So Russell Innovation Center. If you heard of Herman J. Russell,
yeah,
he has his own co-working space they built in the name of him.
Cool.
Is that the one? Is he frat?
I don't know that.
Yeah.
That's the one that built the Commons and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, remember his name was on the building. Like he had that bit. He built the Commons.
The richest black.
You've seen that before.
Black, yeah.
He's like a big construction
H.J.
dude.
Russell.
It used to be a H.J. You've seen H.J.
You remember
Russell,
Black Panther when at the very end, the last scene when they were like, "I'm buying this building," and I bought this building. So when they shot that was his building. That was actually the building that was.
Yeah, I remember seeing that sign.
Part of the Founder 100 over there. So they about to open up a whole co-working space. So they got a nice little podcast studio in there.
Oh, cool.
So that, and then the last thing is the nonprofit. So through my job, we got a grant, and one of the clubhouses and one of the high schools, they want to get some podcast equipment and turn their newspaper to a digital.
Oh, that's dope.
Okay.
So I'm just doing all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing with New Voices. That's what it is, just to get this out here and really make sure that black podcasts don't miss out on this money and the regular average people. Because what's also happening with podcasting,
I'm above average.
Well, no, when I say average, I mean non-celebrities. Like now, T.I. got a podcast.
I'm a celebrity.
David Banner got a podcast. Like all these celebrities got podcasts now, so it's about to, it could bring down the value. Of what
you think so?
Well, just because of I'm talking about deal wise.
Oh, deal wise.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the money. Like here in Atlanta, it's like 5 podcast studios collectively over like $200 million over content and buying shit. So that's what I'm doing with New Voices. So if you need podcast auditing, I listen to your shows, help you out. I pull up in pod, that's trademark, got my equipment in the bag. Shit, it's in the car right now. And record you.
Cool.
That's what I do. Behind the scenes.
There it is. Shit, that sounds like we in the wrap up, goddamn, before we even knew we was in the wrap up.
We just kind of slid in there.
Goddamn.
So with New Voices, I mean, that's what it is.
You got
some? Crying now is private. We ain't private, no, we public.
Goddamn. Oh, you got public profile now?
Public profile. We re-single out here, baby, so, I might have to go
before we go.
When that speed date.
Before we go.
Come on, get a birthday girl.
Can you please give me the definition of, because I couldn't necessarily hear it when you were describing unsingle the first time you defined it, because I was like, what? Bullshit? What? And then
put the hat on, bro. Right behind.
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah. So, can you describe to me the difference between single, unsingle, and it sounds like a new ad on re-single.
I ain't trying to KB on the re-single.
Unsingle, totally Mr. Key right there.
Okay,
yeah.
So
at the
single,
party we
unsingle and re-single. Please give me.
So unsingle, simply put.
Okay.
Not single. So you look it up in the definition. If you look it up in the dictionary, you look up unsingle, right beside it is going to say not single to answer your question.
Okay.
Now, you have any other questions that come with that for unsingle? Ask me.
Well, define single for me.
Uh-oh.
Single means I'm available, I'm open, I'm just normal single definition.
Okay, and not single is
unsingle.
that you're. Unsingle is that
not
you
single.
Not single, which
Period.
is I am not available.
So hold on. So you added. As she just did, she added more to the definition. Like I said,
it's not single.
Period.
But the definition of single is
the definition of unsingle is not single. Period. Now you asked me, was I available? If I'm unsingle, I can still be available.
Uh-oh.
No, I think her real question is, what's the difference between
single
unsingle and not available? That's my question.
That's your question?
My question: single means I'm not available.
No,
is that what you said?
Single means you're available.
Single means I'm available. You're right.
Yes.
Single means I'm available. Unsingle means
I'm not single.
And single means I'm available.
So what do you ask? So I'm unsingle.
She's trying to figure out the difference between
let's role play.
What's the difference?
I have an unsingle hat on, so that represents that I'm unsingle.
Not
so ask
single.
me some questions. You meet me.
You got a hat on.
What would I ask about unsingle?
Yeah, you meet me. Man.
So I've already asked what does that mean? You said
I'm not single.
I'm not single. Okay. Are you dating?
You mean like you? You want to go on a date? Or?
No. Are you dating other people?
I go on dates.
Okay, so you are dating.
You want to go on a date?
That's not what I'm asking you now.
I go on dates.
Okay, you go on dates. Are you committed to someone?
Well, are you dating?
Uh-oh.
Are you deflecting?
No, I answered your question. I'm just asking.
Therapist came out real quick.
I answered your question. Are you dating? I answered your question.
Yes, I'm dating.
Okay.
Are you committed to someone? Excuse me, my turn. Yeah.
Shit.
So you said, am I committed to somebody?
Hey, unsingle, are you committed to someone?
Currently re-single.
Under construction.
I mean, when you say committed, I mean that has a lot behind it. So right now, how I'm feeling, not too committed.
Re-single.
This sound like the complicated part on Facebook.
That's what
it's complicated.
It's complicated.
Unsingle is like, it's complicated. Like, and I don't know why you gave this. I don't know why you gave her the bullshit definition.
Come on with it.
Because
I
Just let it ride.
Don't let it ride.
Don't
let it ride.
I feel like your definition of it before was a lot better.
What was
Because
it?
what I got from it is that, what I
Don't
got
forget
from
your
it.
Come with the basic logic.
What I got from unsingle means, hey, I'm in a situation.
It's complicated.
Yeah, but if you trying to, I'm not. This is what I heard you say.
I can choose to be available if you trying to get with it.
He just said at this point in time, I'm not looking for a relationship. You know, I'm in a situation, and if an opportunity presents itself, I may take advantage of it.
This is what I said, right? So put like this.
That's a move.
Put like this. You know,
Unsingle is a move. You can't make sense of it.
That's why.
Who's Beyonce married to?
Jay-Z.
You know what he looked like, right?
Absolutely.
Who's Charlamagne married to?
Charlamagne.
The guy. Who you married to?
Oh, I don't know.
We know he's married though.
That's what he says.
He's married though, right?
That's what he said.
All right. That's what unsingle is. Like, I'm not single, but like how you don't know if Charlamagne really married or not, it's like I can tell you. I'm not.
What you think Charlamagne he married to a man or something?
He could be lying.
He said he's married to a woman, and whatever.
you
But
never
not
seen it,
everybody
you don't know.
shares their spouse.
That's smart. That's what I would do if I was
So, you
famous.
know,
I wouldn't know nobody.
That's what it is.
Oh, man.
So you
It's a
know,
move. What's re-single then?
I mean, re-single means that
You back to being available to everybody?
so
no longer
So,
complicated?
so re-single is when the true definition of unsingle has been uncovered, and you have to.
You gotta make a
when
move.
we now know it's not bullshit.
You gotta make
No,
a transition.
so I mean,
Right.
truthfully, like you know, how you got nouns, pronouns, adjectives.
Sure.
Unsingle is bullshit. That's how you would describe that word.
I
right?
agree.
So that's a bullshit word. So re-single means that the
That's
bullshit is
that.
over, and I'm really back out here.
Back out in these streets.
And the next time I do this, I won't be unsingle. I will be in a relationship.
So unsingle
that
is
sounds
not
like
a
some
good
key
place
stuff
to
he
be.
added on there now, but re-single just you single again.
Okay, back on the prowl.
Back on the prowl.
Back on the
How the
prowl.
rest of it go?
That's right.
Back on the prowl. That's what it is.
That was every girl's song, huh? Look at you.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, re-single. So I need to holler at SA on and get that patch for my shirt.
That you re-single.
Yeah, she
put
just
that
showed me a
in.
little patch. I can just put it on.
So you've been released back into singleness.
I guess you could say release or escaped.
Oh, boy.
Escape. Oh Lord. All
Yeah,
right.
we just
Nah,
lost,
bro,
you just lost that
you
listener, bro.
You can say
We lost her, bro. She was in the chat, bro. She was loyal.
She could be in the chat.
She was in the chat, bro.
I say stay in the
Both
chat.
of y'all didn't
sis.
cause us listeners. I'm the only one gaining this. You didn't cause us a listener. You have
to.
to.
She can stay in the chat, but
Kelvin
you know,
cost us a listener too.
I'll be more than happy to come
So
on
you
one
pulling
episode
your
and
weight,
explain to
your
y'all the
sweat
nature of that
equity. Hold on
relationship.
to
That was
that.
some bullshit.
Strong.
I can't believe I did that shit. Shouldn't have did that.
Well,
shit. It was
choices,
wrong.
we all have them.
Y'all have them. Y'all have them.
Hey, man, let's wrap up. Woo. Yeah, I wish we could have did a whole re-single episode, but
Maybe one.
Well,
But that song
He's invited
came.
back.
That Big Sean, Big
That shit came
Sean,
on. I know.
bro. It sound like he's saying unsingle.
I know.
Unsingle again. That's what I always sing. I say unsingle. But anyway, man, wrap us up, man. Starting with you again. You had like that's new every time. But
Don't
what's
take
up?
5 minutes.
We're not listening to you. It's your birthday, so I'm gonna let you
Right.
slide.
And
Don't
then-
say nothing
and then-
else.
and
Don't
then-
say Nathaniel.
And when the new live show come, we got timers on shit. So we don't
Right.
even got all that time.
Cool. Nah, but this was a good episode. It kind of needed to happen. I was happy everybody was able to come. I think Keith actually came on time too.
No.
It was a little
No, we
late.
were late.
But I did say I was gonna be late.
Amy, you came in right after you.
Like we came in together.
Yeah.
When we
So what you
walked
do-
up.
So who was late? You was late too?
Yes.
No, actually I was
Okay.
here before her. She pulled up and I waited for her. to come.
I was on time, kind of.
Shout
You
out
came
to
before
you.
9.
I was
Good shit,
before
bro.
nine.
Don't it feel cool?
Year.
You be relaxing and shit.
It's all right.
Looking
I
like
be
the
on
Gray
time for
Ranger.
me clocking in. That's the only thing.
It's the only
This
thing
clocking
that
in
matters.
too,
Basically.
nigga. We just ain't getting paid yet.
Nah, but like I said, it was a good episode. Definitely. Best of luck to Mr. Keith.
New voices, man.
To new voices.
Yeah.
Definitely need to get invites to this shit that's popping on because you know I've been wanting to come to stuff. I just
Bruh,
like
the-
supporting shit.
Bro, the nigga done invited James to some shit. I'm like, bro, you can hit us up.
I
bro.
asked him would he be on the panel. I ain't invited him to the shit yet.
What?
I'm gonna invite y'all to the same thing, but we had to have this first.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
He
that's
wasn't giving
what
no
I-
invitation to y'all.
No,
came
that's it. I'm
right
like,
to the
damn,
panel.
bro.
No, I wouldn't even do without y'all.
That's
That's
all
why
You know
right.
James gonna tell me. I said, God damn, bro.
James ain't shout out to
Okay,
James though.
KB, you know I got invited to.
I asked him to be- I asked him to be
He said,
on
you
the
know I
panel.
knew something was going on now.
Shout out to Mr. Smallwood.
Hey, man. He had a good episode last week with Kiana Daisy. That shit was good.
I gotta watch that. She looked familiar. Is she a comedian?
That's a comedian, right?
She from Sister Circle.
Is that a comedian?
Yeah, she's a comedian, but that's the one that replaced.
Is that
her live though?
Hold on, is that the one that be at the Atlanta Comedy Theater?
Yeah.
I met her. She dope. Yeah,
I think Georgia Soul.
Yeah. I thought she looked familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, you there?
Shut up.
Yeah, I already
just
wrapped
so
up, man. You know,
rude.
how that shout out to New
Not
Bird.
this week.
Cuz I see you
Put
got
out
the
them-
shoulders
put out
out
them
today, bro.
socials,
We
bro.
ain't scared.
Put out them socials for
Oh yeah, social media
This
at C
mic
Knowledge. That's Knowledge with a C,
coming
not a
your
K. That's all you gotta follow. All New Voices stuff is there.
Asshole.
thenewvoices.com about to launch, so I'll put that out when it launches. That's it.
Come on with yours, Amy.
Black Man Lab every Monday. Men only too. No women can come. Dead ass. They kick you out. It's only safe space.
Really aggressive.
It's really a safe space.
Nah, y'all got
Y'all
a
gonna
lot
be
of
there.
safe space.
We
Right.
do.
They got a lot of
Yeah,
space.
do.
We do. All right.
What's up? Give us them socials. Give that information.
Mm-hmm.
If they-
It was
how
such
they
a
can contact
beautiful,
you.
beautiful pod.
Oh,
Can I do a wrap up?
Yeah.
that's what we looking at you
Put your
for.
shirt
Can I have a little control here? Okay.
Mute everybody. Goddamn.
Thank you. Well, coming live from Words with KP podcast, I would like to thank all the listeners for coming in. Thank you, respect. Ian, you're here. Keith, welcome back. I'm glad we had this conversation. It was great. It was good to kind of see every men resolve and talk about situations, because us females get a bad rep about that. We go through this emotional roller coaster, and it was good to see like the picture of man.
This was not emotional roller coaster, my nigga.
And I used to like,
We kept that bitch the same, man.
Exactly. Like we had the
We didn't. It wasn't.
As you
It was
go
a
through this
mature.
podcast.
When no crying, it was a straight up talk.
Okay.
When no yelling, it was straight
Fight.
talk.
frustrated in emotion.
When no freshman, we had a clear conversation.
Ain't no roller coaster up
So,
in here.
I won't even go through.
We're not gonna play us
You
like
see how
that.
I'm telling
tainted
you.
emotion is? Okay, they went through this roller coaster of resolve. I like to see that. It was just kind of interesting to watch you guys kind of delve it out. There was emotion. When you watch the live back, I just need you to circle the screen and post it in the group chat. It'd be like, yeah, she was a little right. Cool. But other than that, it was dope for you guys to come back and show that. People don't see that there's sometimes a tension behind businesses and building business. And so for you guys to be transparent as much as possible that you want to let on, I think that's reality, which is kind of authentic to what you guys are doing here, regardless if it's separate or whatever. So where you can find me is at refinedvisiontherapy.com. Okay. And my Instagram is refinedvision_. Check me out, follow all those great things. I hope you guys continue to produce great content here. Invite me so I can bust some balls and things like that.
You busting balls now?
I will be.
Okay. She coming out now. She like, all right, nigga, I'm here now.
Toxic
Yeah,
femininity.
right.
Toxic femininity.
No.
How to say
It was dope.
Toxic
It was dope.
femininity.
No more
It
for
was
you, my nigga.
It was
Toxic
good.
femininity. Busting balls.
Yeah.
I got this.
God damn, that been there 30 minutes.
No, it hasn't. I've been sipping.
We ran out a long time ago.
Whoa.
It's nothing in nobody else.
Nothing like
It's see through. You don't gotta look at it.
Maybe I just wanted to have the let's go.
All right. Are you done wrapping up?
I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, man, good shit, man. Motherfucking Keith, man. Motherfucker. Goddamn. Motherfucking Ian. Goddamn basic logic in this bitch.
Hey, Aaron like the little boy in Soul Food. Like, hey, Keith, you wanna come to the Hey, Kelvin, we recording tonight?
Hey, man.
Just show up.
Don't let them
Hey,
play
man.
you like that, Ian.
It's all good. He know it's true. It's all good. Please, boy.
Trash can.
Did you just flip your hair right there?
Oh, it went over my head, sir.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you was doing.
You even have hair? We ain't seen your hair in like
None
2
of the
seasons.
I'm glad y'all paying attention right now. But
Like DJ D-Ray.
hey, I tell you that shit, I be bald. Y'all be like, damn, nigga. But yeah, man, good episode. Yeah, we definitely popping off the season with this episode. You know what I'm saying?
This is juice.
Yeah, we gotta pop it off with this one right here. So yeah, man, it was good, man. Yeah, we'll see Miss Keith on again sometime, man. New voices, all that shit.
We're gonna get this deal. 2020 gonna be the year of the black man.
Yeah,
I heard it here first.
Yeah. We so
Damn. Yeah, it was a good episode. Just leave it at that. Good episode. Check us out. Facebook, Where's KB Podcast. Instagram, the same. Twitter, Where's KB Pod, man. A lot of new crazy shit coming this season, man. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Instagram about to be popping, man. So y'all make sure y'all goddamn comment, like, share, say something, goddamn it, because we're gonna be reaching out to you this season. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Season 2 is here right now. Let's get it. Hey,
shout out to the Deuces.
Hey,
Gang gang.
So I'm